Hey. Oh, hi. Hello. So more propane project. More propane project. But you guys, this is such an important system that provides comfort, food, warmth in the form of a hot coffee, but also it needs to be safe. So it's worth it to spend a little more time on this system. So let me show you what I've got down here. So we keep telling you guys we're gonna paint the lazarettes, but yeah, it's really freaking hard to paint all this. You gotta clean all this, prep it for paint, like all of these surfaces, all of this, like it's not as easy as just painting 4 walls in a bedroom. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies and things you gotta paint around. But Devin was awesome and painted the areas where we know that we need to mount our propane hose. So there's just a thin strip down here, over there, across and back, up in there if you can see it. And that's where we're gonna mount our hose to the hull of the boat. So on this boat, if you recall, the tanks used to be right below the floorboards here. So now we're moving the tank aft because we could buy an off-the-shelf, pre-made, cross-linked polyethylene fuel tank.
All right, so here we are. We are in the lazarette. Back here, there's the steering is up there, and the exhaust is gonna be up there. And back this way, we've got Dad here, and he is in the engine room currently, which is, thank goodness we're both small, so we can both fit in here. And he did a bunch of sanding on these wood walls in the engine room, and then just gave it a nice fresh coat of white for bilge so that we got a good center. Then he's setting up his leveler, and he's gonna tell you about why.
Okay, what we're gonna put a platform down here for the gas tank, and what we want to do is get it as level as we can. It is a boat, and they do move all different directions. So what I've done is I went ahead and set my laser up here, laser level, just a cheap Harbor Freight one, works great for this. And went ahead and made sure I've got my square here and my line level here. I made my marks here, and then what I did is, you'll see, you can't see this side too much because it's behind us, but you'll get the idea from here. So what I've done is then I measured down 17 inches from my line, made my lines down here, because that's going to be my platform. So that way when I'm all done, the platform will be level and square, level with the boat and stuff. So that's what I've been working on. I just finished. Now I'm ready to make my pattern pieces for the platform.
So first we're gonna do a CAD
Template, cardboard template, yep.
the cardboard something draft.
Templates.
Yeah. So first we're gonna start there, and then do the cutout, and then Matt has, what is that plastic that he has?
It just went right out of my head.
Doesn't matter. So Matt has some product that he'll tell you about that they're going to make the base out of, and they're going to put it right in here so that the fuel tank will be right in here in the engine room with the engine. So it'll be fuel tank, engine, and then we still have all of our lazarette space, and our steering goes all the way back here. So this is the depths of our lazarette. And we've got stuff falling everywhere. So this is what we got going on so far. Thank goodness we got Dad, because first is fuel, then is then is steering, and then is exhaust, right, for installation?
Yeah.
So we're in good shape. We're starting now on the fuel tank. Get it going.
Okay, update. Yeah, here we are working on the platform for the fuel tank. So we've got 1 inch thick starboard, pretty beefy, and Dad over here made these templates. So the way the slope of the hole works is it kind of slopes in this direction, and so we had to create these or Dad created these templates so we could cut out our bottom supports, and we just used our little skill saw here, jigsaw, yeah, a jigsaw, and the blade that worked was this ultra fine finished wood blade. That worked out really well for most of the cuts. And then a few of the cuts, like some of the corners and things like that, we did this scroll cut blade. So we also marked out the measurements of the total piece so we can get all of our 4 supports and the base and a back support out of this one piece of starboard here. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. Now Dad's over here cleaning up the edges, because when you do cut it, it does leave a little bit of a frayed edge, you can see there. So yeah, that's a quick update. We'll move on to the next one. Okay. We're doing the project for the fuel tank platform, and man, it changed the fall fast. So kind of just right now we're walking back between the boat to the shop right there to trim these to size, marking them, and then trimming them. So that's our job for today in the wet weather. So we've got our little sanding station set up here, a cutting station set up over here, and so what we do is just take the piece to the boat, fit it in. If it doesn't quite fit, mark it, take it back here, cut where we marked it, fit it again, rinse and repeat until we're happy with the fit. Boat work in the fall. Good stuff. So let's get this one going. I'm just about to clean up the shop, and Lovey is, come on, you can do it, come on in. Come on. Come on. Good girl. Oh, good girl. Good girl. What do you think, huh? Warm and dry? Yeah. Is it warm and dry? You're so silly. So what we're going to do is test fit it. So first step is we got to remove these heavy stairs out of the way. And when we do that, we find a dad. Keep your in-laws. Well, Harry Potter.
This is our Harry Potter. It's where the in-laws go. Ooh, that looks great, Dad.
Yeah.
So this is the test fit for
Yeah,
the. Okay, so
test fit.
let's.
Then we'll glue everything and put our center pieces in.
So what? So that's the platform,
Yep.
and you have just screwed it in place.
I have just
And you don't have a
my
support.
sides, my back, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have the middle support in.
Right.
And now Matt's gonna put the fuel tank in to test it out so that we know if we can screw it, make it final.
Yeah.
So
Fuel tank's right here. So just give me a moment while I get it situated. and we'll show you guys how it's gonna slide in.
All right.
So here's the tank. It's full of fuel. I'm really strong. Just kidding. It's empty.
You are really strong.
So now we've already fit it through. So I've stole our thunder a little bit, but it's still a really nice looking fit. So the way we've got to do it is these little nubs got to go on the side of the engine, and it goes in upside down. Like that. Dad, you may have to move the fuel filters lower.
When I put it in,
Yeah, to slide it back.
I was thinking that too.
So then it just slides in over the engine like that. And then tip it down and roll it back.
And see now if I do that, can I do, wait, Matthew,
What?
can we try something else?
What?
I don't want to tip it yet, because if I got those fuel filters mounted,
No, not mounted. I'm just saying it's got to be lower in the boat.
oh, we're going to do the filter now. Afterwards.
Yeah. So tip that corner down. There we go.
We're down.
Now roll it back.
Yeah. Let me see what we have to do is put those.
Yeah.
Oh my
Check it
goodness.
out.
There's
Does
still
it fit?
space.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. And look at how much space is still in there. You can still get in there to work on the engine from all sides.
Well, you're going to have pulleys. All your steering pulleys are going to be.
Yeah. Steering comes down. Exhaust is gonna go up and over it. All that.
Yes,
Oh.
I just found Matthew.
Oh, good. Your rasp. Nothing on a boat's level, but Dad did his best to get it as close as possible.
Oh my goodness. It looks perfect.
That looks really nice.
Yep.
That's awesome, Dad.
Yes. And we found the rasp.
Win-win.
After I have already spent my arms all the way down under,
Yeah.
under the motor and all that yuck. And you didn't find it. So,
Yeah, so now now that we know the tank fits and it goes back in there with all of our supports, we can start screwing it in and gluing it down.
It's pretty exciting. Thanks, Dad.
Yep.
well, wait a minute.
All right, so because we are using HDPE, we have to use this special kind of epoxy. So this is called G-Flex 655. And this has good adhesion to HDPE. Regular epoxy won't adhere as strongly to HDPE. So what we're gonna do, we've had this inside, even next to the heater and on the heater, because it's a little bit cold and it'll dispense easier when it's warm. So we will mix this up per the instructions, 1-to-1 ratio, and I'm even gonna do it on the scale so I can get really accurate with it. And then once that's mixed up, our pot time is gonna be like 45 minutes or longer because it's so chilly out right now. Then once that's mixed up, I'll show you guys the next step, which is really fun, and it involves fire. We got our 655 G-Flex epoxy adhesive mixed up in here in a 1-to-1 ratio. So now we're just mixing it real good so it's a nice even color. Kind of looks like honey. A little lighter. Just stir that for a couple of minutes. Then we'll go on to the next one. So, this stuff, although the data sheet, I have seen conflicting data, but the instructions that come with it say if you want to get a better bond on plastics, you can heat treat them. So after it's been cleaned, we'll just heat treat our edge that we want to bond with the epoxy, and then that'll help with the adhesion. So, fire.
Get a little warm in my hand.
Okay, so we got that one all epoxied up. And now Dad's put it in place. I'm gonna screw it in. Okay, so we got the first one in. So if you remember, the process is, what we've done is we've dry fitted everything, sanded and shaped everything, dry fitted again, sanded and shaped again, and did that dozens of times. Then we did one final dry fit with the tank in, like you guys saw. Then now we are actually doing the epoxy and getting everything glued and screwed into place. So that's kind of the process that we're doing right now, is just finalizing the glue up and getting everything in its final position.
All right, so what we've got, the straps are anchored on the other side, go through the plywood and go down. So they're anchored this way to give them some extra strength on both of them. And these come down here, they'll take and fasten down on our deck here, which will help us to hold it down. These two here will come here, and there'll be two others that we'll put in from down here. They can come here and they'll have adjustable bolt here so that we can set the expansion on the tank. This clip here holds down the tank on this end as well. So that tank's not going anywhere. It's got support this way. We've epoxied the deck pieces. There's another support under here and another one under here. And if we have to work on something under there, we still can, because we can pull these off here and turn around and pull our deck lid off. The supports underneath are not coming off that hole. Epoxy's all hardened up.
What are the black strips?
Okay, your black strips, what they are for is to help hold they don't really hold the tank. What they're going to do is they'll cush the tank and give us a little bit of cush. Also, it lets air circulation get around the tank and under the tank, so that sediment or water or overspray, whatever should happen when water gets in your engine compartments, it just does. At least it won't take and work on the plastic of the tank. This will gives us support, as well as helps let air circulate better into the tank.
Cool. Yeah, looks good. Thanks, Dad.
Yep. And then all our electrical and our fill will go out that way.
Yeah, and then the tank's just right behind you, ready to be rolled in and positioned in for like
so we can see that.
final dry fit.
Yep.
So
It's right there.
yeah, we'll give that a
Rolling
try.
job.
Roll it in. Looks good. Awesome. So we're down here on our morning walk. Look who's just walking with us. What do you think, Bella? What do you think? Love you. What are you doing? What are you doing? What you doing? Hey. Careful, man. Scissor loves. She loves biting my hands. She's strong. Good girl. Good girl, that's nice. You can be nice. Ow. You brat. Ow. Yeah, you think that's so funny, don't you? Check it out. Tank is in. So, this was after 3 or 4 days of work. Pretty impressed. So I wanted to give you guys a little tour. So it all started with this base. So this is 1-inch HDPE. We have support along the back side. This is the starboard holds bulkhead over here. A support there, a support there, and then a support there. So 4 supports along the bottom. There's also one that goes back there across the back. You see that back there. And then of course the deck on top of that. So this thing is rock solid. Like, there's not even an ounce of flex in that. Then we have these neoprene rubber strips that keep the tank cushioned and help with chafe, also with airflow and circulation, and if there is any water that gets under there, it'll just drain out. The tank is also then held in place with these straps. So this is a plastic coated 316 stainless steel band that we've wrapped over the top. There's one that goes here, and we ran out of material, but there will be another one that goes across the bottom down here. And where we could, we ran the strap through the wall like this one, bent it over, and then secured it with some screws. So that's gonna have 4 total straps. And also, wherever the tank was going to be touching the wall, you can see our neoprene straps that come up the backside over there, and then we put more HDPE on this side to keep the tank from rubbing on the wood. So if there is any movement of the tank, it will be cushioned on those sides. Then on this side, it was actually enough room to do OEM tank hold down clamp. So that hold down clamp just goes into, screws into the HDPE, and then there's a little knuckle on the side of the tank that clamp fits into. You can kind of see it back there. It's a little bit tough to see. So when I was reading the ABYC guidelines, they said that it's like a 1/4 inch of movement. You can't have your tank move like a 1/4 inch. And I can crank on this thing from any direction, and there is no movement whatsoever. So, successful installation for sure. The other thing to keep in mind for these cross-linked polyethylene tanks is they expand. So they expand about 2 to 3% when you fill it with fuel. So these straps aren't completely tight. They're a little bit loose, and we did that on purpose to allow for that expansion. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Next steps, of course, we have to hook up our fill, our supply line to the engine, the return line, the tank sensor gauge, the level gauge. But yeah, this is an amazing bit of work, and Dad worked super hard. So he worked so hard, and it was a lot of work, but it's finally done. And then while he's still here with us this week, next is steering. That's kind of our next big goal. But for right now, fuel tank looks amazing. It's in, it's secure, it's installed correctly with good high quality materials. And that plastic tank should last us for the remaining life of the engine and even longer. It's funny when I look at Nigel Calder's Boat Owners and Electrical Manual. I think that's what it's called. We'll put a link in the description below. He goes through and talks about the various tank materials, and one of his comments was basically like plastic tanks, or there's boats built out of plastic, and they float forever and live forever, so why shouldn't we have plastic tanks on boats? So that was kind of our deciding factor to go with the polyethylene, the cross-linked polyethylene rather than aluminum. course, it was a lot cheaper too. So we will flash up on the screen some of the cost comparisons between the custom and then off the shelf, so you can also see that was how our decision was informed. Yeah, but it feels good. No more leaky fuel tank, and yeah, on to the next one. You can certainly say that the boat is just a little bit better today.